I suppose if I wanted to talk a little bit more seriously about Ernest Becker and those books, I should at least scan over some things. Like I said, I don't think it's really worth it. No, I would have to though. All this stuff. Okay, man. I told you. Well, what do I think about that? He says that he's a pessimist with hope. Okay, we don't normally think that there's such a thing, but no, I think there is. I'm not going to call myself a pessimist. I'm not going to call myself anything. That's my way. The show in my head right now that's going on. I'm going to call it the human show. It would take me too long to get to the points of this stuff. Man's an animal. Self-esteem. They talk a lot about this hero stuff. Man needs self. I mean, a lot of it. I kind of questioned it, man. Like I've said before, you could read some of the stuff and think, man's rotten. I do remember reading it and thinking like, that's debatable. Whatever you're talking about. There were parts, and maybe it was Escape from Evil, that to me seemed like he was playing with words to induce guilt feelings. And I thought, I see what you're fucking doing here, man. I thought that's what I felt. Like, this ain't necessarily, what else? I think he claimed that, he was in the tradition of Freud and Rank and so and so. These were not his personal biases and whatever. They were doing a scientific. This was objective about man and man's condition, right? I thought that's how the fuck can you even say it's such a thing? You know what I mean? Like what? Mankind? You could put me in a fishbowl, like a thing, and say, listen to him rant and ramble, and conclude something about mankind. One thing I thought was being talked about that was character armor, your self-esteem. I thought I thought it blew everything out of the water. That it was it could be devastating. Everything you do to feel good about yourself, whatever it is, wiping up a counter, singing a fucking song and thinking, that was pretty good. That's an illusion. Man lives by a symbolic sense of self-worth that knows no end. Yeah, this shit's too hard to talk about. It's serious too. I wouldn't want to bring anyone down. I don't think that can happen with the way I'm talking about it. If you try to read it, it probably will. That's why I don't recommend that. Reading Ernest Becker, Escape from Evil. Unless you want to. But I take no. I don't recommend it. Like. I just remember when I was done with that, I thought, everything I'm doing is an illusion. It's a lie. It's character armor. It's the causa sui. It's me trying to be my own foundation. Man's an animal and he fears death. Oh yeah, there are some merits to reading that, and it's to see and not to see what people do, like countries and fighting one another, and mainly like religious stuff and that. That point that's where I can see there's something to it. But when it comes to threatening to tear down your entire thing, I don't see how that can be. I don't see how they found a way out of that. That people, I'm missing something. Talk positively about Ernest Becker and all of this. Because it seemed to me that if I call out everything I'm doing, I'm playing guitar, I'm trying to improve this or that, it's a lie, it's an illusion. But I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to write this and leave this for mankind. Yeah, I got to think more about it. I thought, well, that ain't rational. If I think it's a lie and illusion, I'm not going to do it. How the fuck can you do that? I'm going to write a book for man. I'm going to leave behind, do my little part for the world and the fuck for? You know what I mean? Really? There's this thing about living in the hearts of men. There's a Woody Allen quote where he says, I don't want to live on forever in the hearts of men. I want to live in my apartment. And I thought, yeah, that's funny. And sometimes I'll fluctuate on that, like, oh, that's just making light of something fucking deadly serious, like. But I don't know, That was another question. Is that what I want? Is that what people want? To live on forever? The symbolic infinity, Sometimes I think so. That's one thing that I mean by pessimism. I see it in myself and I know it's in others. You want what you can't have. And you can get bogged down in all these things. I was doing it yesterday, You're depressed. You start getting depressed. I'm not getting what I want. I'm not good enough at this or that. He's better than that. I need to surpass him. You get bogged up in that feeling, I'm just losing it. I'm losing it here. And then sometimes you think, okay, you're doing all this, you're doing that, and sometimes I think, one of the main premise, I don't know what you call it, of those books is man's an animal and he doesn't want it and knows that it's going to die and he doesn't want to. Sometimes I think that is the problem. Behind everything. And I think that's a basic issue that would have to be tossed around, man, and turned around to get people to admit that. And it's so simple to me. I remember thinking it when I was younger. it just came natural. I'm like, whoever I was talking to, I'm like, I don't think I told this. Oh man. Yeah, I said, I don't think there's a heaven, and I'm upset about that. I didn't read any Becker then, or it just came natural. It comes natural to all of us, I think. And that's why, I don't know why, but that's why we have all these beliefs, man, and these little systems and ghosts and spirits, and it's to reinforce no, you don't. And I'm not sure though, I can't say it. No, that's not true. I tend to think there's a damn well probably is some kind of God, but I don't like to use that word. I would just use and the only reason I say that I have to have some basis in experience to even say that. And the only thing I have is the experience of synchronicity. It's been so uncanny at times, I thought, well, and here's the only way I can explain that. You picture like a mandala, a circle, some intricate, symmetrical connected patterns, and maybe you could picture the Indra's net thing. But just picture that, and you say, okay, this is everything, and it's all connected somehow. That image is the best I can do, And I have this experience of synchronicity because somehow the whole fucking thing's one, But as far as what that means, other than that, like I get to live forever or meld back into the thing of God, I have no idea. I don't think you necessarily would say that. But I do think, no, I can't say it. I think that sure as hell could be the way things are. Even though it don't seem like it, an everyday thing, And I have no knowledge of it. I have denied access to that conscious, knowledge of that. I just have that little image, that that I gave you, the mandala thing, man. All right.